A video on something that I just want to have a quick faff around with. It won't be a quick faff around because I've never faffed around quickly in my life. So I want to do a Semifreddo, but I don't want to have to use any eggs, and I don't want to have to use any ricotta or mascarpone cheese or cream. Cheese or cream? Mascarpone. So I'm gonna, and I made trifle the other day, and I used jam with the fruit in the base part of it, and as I treated myself to a bit, there was a bit left after work. No, actually it was the scrapings from the tray. So I scraped out the tray of this trifle, and a bit of the cream from the top of the trifle mixed in with some of the jam and element of it, and it was delicious. So it was like this sweet jam and then this creamy whipped cream that was kind of softly whipped, and it was lovely, and it reminded me of like a raspberry ripple type of ice cream. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a thick custard, and we're going to beef it up a little bit with some milk powder. So this is I bought this quite a while ago and thinking I will do something with it. So I'm now going to do something with it. So it's instant full cream milk powder. So it's just basically milk powder. So I'm going to make the custard with full fat milk. So full fat milk, and we're going to put in some extra milk powder as well. So maybe, for example, if a pint of milk needs, to make a pint of milk from milk powder, if it needs 25 grams, we're going to add 25 grams worth of milk powder to a pint of milk, type of thing. I might even double that amount to make it extra creamy, because if we're making something frozen and we're making like a Semifreddo, we want an element of quite a high fat content, so it's creamy to taste. And if I'm not going to put in mascarpone or ricotta or egg yolks, we might put some egg yolks in at the end if it works or not. Might revise the recipe. We need to kind of up fat content, so I think adding milk powder will be that kind of thing. So we're basically going to make an ice cream, because the basis of an ice cream is creme anglaise, custard, an egg custard, and that's simply what you freeze. So yeah, so I'll make a thick custard with extra milk powder, and then we're going to whip some double cream lightly. That'll be the air element in the Semifreddo, and we'll combine those all together, and then we'll kind of drizzle in some of this cheap strawberry jam. It's all right. There's no seeds in it, so I presume, I don't know how they'll make it. But I presume it's just not like a waste product from strawberry jam. It'll be made from the juice of strawberries. That's what it'll be made from, but I don't know where they get the juice from. So what they'll do is, you can make jams and jellies from the juice of the fruit. Probably reduced it down a bit like a way. Alright, so it says sugar, strawberries, water. So it's not made from strawberry juice. It's made from strawberries, but I don't know if it's not. There's not much seeds in it, so I don't know if it's something that's kind of separated from other jams to make that jam more luxurious. So to take out some of that kind of element of this, a batch of jam that they make, and therefore it's more, looks like it's got more fruit in it. Maybe I don't know. I can't see why they would sieve out the seeds. Why would you sieve out the seeds if you were making a strawberry jam? That's why I kind of think I don't really know how that's made. Kind of quite interesting, but it's all right for cooking. If you're making a jam tart, it's fine for cooking. And if you're on a tighter budget, there's nothing wrong with that. So, and then what we'll do is we'll not drizzle it through like a raspberry ripple, so there's kind of like bits of chunks of jam in there. More like, my vision was that what I'd do is I'd put it in a bowl and mix it around with a whisk, and then kind of like whisk through. When we're folding everything together, we'll just kind of whisk it through, so it's just got like a whiff of strawberry jam going through it, and I think it'd be kind of quite nice. And then we'll freeze it and see what it's like. We've also got this. See, we're up at 5 minutes already. I could have had this done in 5 minutes, couldn't I? I've got some of this, which is milk powder, which I toasted in the oven, so it's got a bit of a toasty flavour to it. I've got some Ovaltine as well, haven't I? Yeah, I've got some Ovaltine as well. I was going to make it with Ovaltine. No, Horlicks. Yeah, so we'll make this batch with this, and then when I make it again at work, I'll use up the Horlicks. I might have to put some Horlicks in now. Yeah, I think we'll use Horlicks. We'll use half Horlicks, half milk cream powder. That's what we'll do. Yes. So I'll make some custard, and then we'll see how we are. Yeah. So I think for a pint of milk, I think it's about 25 grams, maybe 30 grams worth of custard powder, which is in that container. To thicken it up, I think we'll do 40 grams, so it becomes a thicker custard, a little bit richer. Put the same amount of sugar in. So custard powders are normally same amount of sugar to custard powder to milk. So, for example, if it's I think it's 50 grams per litre. So I'm thinking about 30 grams per pint, because a pint's slightly more than half a litre. So if it's 40 grams of custard powder, it's 40 grams of sugar. So we'll keep that amount the same, but we'll put in slightly more custard powder. So I have made this thick custard. The only problem with making custard in smaller batches is that sometimes when you add the custard powder, it doesn't want to thicken up, because the container that there's a fly in the kitchen. It's that time of year. I'll get it in a minute. The container that you have the custard powder in cools the milk down sufficiently that it doesn't want to thicken it up, and then you have to put it back in the pan. Or what you can do is you put it in the microwave just to thicken it up. So there is, for the sake of ease, I put in, there is how much? Half a litre of milk, full fat milk. There is 50 grams of sugar. There is 50 grams worth of custard powder. There's 50 grams worth of milk powder, and there's 50 grams worth of Horlicks powder. I'm using up the Horlicks powder, otherwise I would have used the toasted milk powder. So it's thick enough, I think, and that will thicken up a lot more as it cools. The only problem now is, if we're not careful, we'll get a skin on that. So I won't use it sparingly. We'll just put a bit of cling film over the top, and then that'll stop the skin from forming. What we can do sometimes is just put a bit of water on top of dab a bit of water on top of the custard as it forms a skin, and then what they do is the water breaks up the skin and stops it from having a thick layer of skin. Although, as a child, I just kind of thought the skin was the best bit. So we'll allow that to cool, and then we'll have a look at it. We should have a taste, shouldn't we? We'll have a taste. We'll allow it to cool, and then we'll whip it up, and then fold it into a bit of double cream, slightly whipped double cream, and then we'll freeze it and we'll see what happens. So, how's it taste? It's nice as that. Ooh, that Horlicks makes a difference. That's interesting. So, have I done that? Have I made a custard tart and put Horlicks in? Don't know. Maybe a thought for the future. So when you make a custard tart, instead of just putting a bit of nutmeg on top, it's sometimes nice to make it without nutmeg, so it's just a clean flavour. It's nice with vanilla. It's also really nice with cardamom, and I imagine it would be nice with turmeric as well. And also, now we have discovered, nice with Horlicks. So we'll let it cool, we'll whip it up, we'll do some things, and then we'll be back. Right, I have whisked up the cream to a soft peak. You don't really find whipping cream as much anymore. It used to be single cream, whipping cream, and double cream. You've just got to be a little bit more careful when you're whipping double cream, because it wants to, if you whip it too long, it turns into butter. So you've just got to be a little bit more careful, whereas whipping cream was a little bit more forgiving when you're whipping it up. And then there was a little bit of the skin that formed onto that, so I've just whipped off the skin, and then we just whip that up as well, so it's nice and smooth. So I was thinking creme légère. I probably said that wrong. Probably need to say it with a proper French accent. But then there's always a risk of sounding like the old TV show Allo Allo, which is always a danger. It's a mixture of whipped cream and is it creme patissier? And I think it's in equal quantities, like half and half type of thing. I don't think half and half is going to be a good idea. I think there's about 500 grams in that. Let's just decide how much we're going to put in. So we'll do it on weight. I'll have to weigh off camera because the board's not level. So we could probably do with something else rather than that. So I reckon what weight's that? That's about a third of that, and there's about 500 grams. So mix this in. No, I think we'll want more than that. So there's 300 millilitres of cream, so we probably really want half and half, because we kind of want that flavour, and we want the richness of it as well. So I reckon like this, we'll do about 250, 300 grams of that, and then it's half and half, isn't it? So what's that? Yeah, it's about half. And then if this fails, we can always use the rest of that custard to... It's nice and shiny, which means I would suggest it's got quite a lot of fat in it. So we can always use the other bit of custard. If it fails, we can always whip up a couple of egg yolks into that, just to richen it up. But I don't want to do that unless I really have to. So... Should have got a bigger bowl. Oh, we'll taste. It's nice as that. You can really tell. You can really taste that whole eggs. You can really taste that whole eggs. So we have just softened the jam. So how are we going to do this? I don't want big globs, but I don't want it mixed all in together. So I always kind of think of, if you're eating rice pudding, or if you don't like rice pudding, not going to really work for you this, but if you can have a blob of jam in your centre of your rice pudding, or you can mix your jam all into your rice pudding, and if you mix it all in, it's just a sweet, fruity taste. Whereas if you put blobs of jam in it, you get that flavour contrast of, sometimes you get an intense bit of jam, and then you get the creaminess of the rice pudding. So I don't want to mix it in. I don't want like a flat flavour. I want little blobs of, but not big blobs, but I want like a contrast in flavour. So if we dot these about, and then we'll use the whisk just to do that raspberry ripple type of effect, and we'll do it a little bit at a time. What's the danger with putting the jam in like this and having big blobs? Because all the blobs will want to go into the bottom, and that's not kind of what I want. I want to do, I think you need a few more blobs in. Not a precise recipe, more of an idea. I think that'll be okay. See, that's the kind of effect that I want. Can you see? Does the camera picked up on that? No, not really, but yeah, okay. So there's going to be... I need something to put that now. I can put it on the lid of this container that I've got prepared. So, where is that? I just stuck my finger in that, that's okay. I didn't lick it. I might end up with 2 containers of this, but it doesn't matter. So not too full, like that. Put the lid on it, stick it in the freezer, and have a look at it tomorrow morning when it's frozen. Actually, while we've got this here, we can give it a bit of a taste, can't we? So, that in the washing up bowl, a little bit of jam extra. just to make sure that I've definitely got some. And how does it taste? Pretty good as that. That's pretty good as that. We'll see what it tastes like when it's frozen. Let's have a look at this. So it has frozen. Of course it's going to freeze. Most things will freeze and put them in the freezer. So it feels not too hard, but things with semifreddos, you take them out of the freezer slightly before you eat them, and then they soften. So we can see that there is the bit of the jammy ripple in there, so we'll kind of see how that is. I don't think it would be, it's going to be quite soft, is that? I think this is going to be okay. So let's put that in there, and then we can use that there. So, my fingers. I don't think the camera's going to pick that up just quite as well because it's white for whatever reason, but there is those ripples in there. I don't think I get those big blobs of jam, and I don't think I'd want those big blobs of jam. That's nice as that. That's good, is that? I'm suitably impressed. I'm suitably impressed with that. So, is custard powder vegan? Well, you can't get around the cream. You can't get around the milk. I don't know anything about vegan food. But anyway, so that's by the by. That is suitably impressible, considering it is basically just a thick, frozen custard that had the flavour enhanced with some powdered milk and a bit of Horlicks. I don't think it needs a Horlicks in it. But it adds something to it. And then just that little bit of jam in there is nice. Certainly a lot cheaper than using eggs, and certainly a lot cheaper than using mascarpone cream or ricotta or yogurt. I would have thought so. Yeah. So, that's a success. So I'll be able to make that for a function, for a cheap dessert. A success.